Good morning.
Good morning. Shalom's here.
Hey, Shalom. Good morning.
Shalom's here.
Hi, Shalom. I land about after midnight tonight.
I'll be home.
Yeah, I'll see you.
Okay. We're going to start a new parak. Tzadik Beis. Mecher Peres. We thank Hashem that we're able to learn Torah every day. So it's the chus of our learning. Shav Beis Hamikdash. Immediately. Naftali, I think I saw your son-in-law at a open house or for the school for the cheder. Not last night, the night before.
Have they found a place yet?
No. Still temporary. Anyway. Yeah, the way they described it was years ago, this would have been a beautiful place, like the temporary place that they have now. So anyway. Okay, we're learning the Nishmat have a Gold Bas Baruch Binyamin and Sanos have been Benzian and for Shlema for Avram David and Sarah. Now he gets a yes, been better. Okay. The Mishnah starts like this. Mecher Peres Lachaveri. Someone sells fruits, doesn't have to be fruits, it could be grain, to his friend. Vizaran. And the purchaser planted it. But it didn't grow. So what does he do? He wants to return it. He wants his money back. And even if what he bought was flaxseed, it's assumed that you bought it to plant. There are people that make medicines out of it, or flaxseed oil and stuff. But it's made to plant to grow linen. To grow flax, which you turn into linen, made for planting. It's not really. There are people that do that, but so I feel Zarapishtan, even if it's Zarapishtan, which it's assumed that this would be majority of the flax that's sold is to plant. Nevertheless, Enachai Bachriusan. The seller's not responsible. Why is the seller not responsible? Sold them, what do you call it? Sold them a dud. Doesn't work. Why is he not responsible? So the way the Gemara is going to explain it, the way the Gemara is assuming, is that you don't follow the majority. You can tell him that you didn't say that you wanted to plant it. I thought you wanted it to make flaxseed oil. I don't know what you wanted it for. I sold you this. Yeah, so I know it doesn't grow. And the rule is ein halchem b'mam acharev. So very good. Where do you know that from? Haminiach. I'd like to say that Haminiach took it from here, but this is the main sugya. Okay. So Rab Shimon ben Gamliel Rab Shimon ben Gamliel says, 1 second. It's not always going to be like this. There are certain types of vegetables that are not eaten at all. Not the vegetables aren't eaten. The seeds of the vegetables aren't eaten at all. Now, one of them is a cabbage. What's kaflet? I don't know what kaflet is. The Rashbam says kaflet. Leek seeds. Okay, there's certain seeds that aren't eaten at all. Now, if that's the case, Reb Shimon ben Gamliel says that that's an absolute mekach tos. There's only one reason to get those seeds, and that is to plant them. So he can't claim that, well, I thought you were the type of person that was, because there are no type of people that don't buy it for planting. It's only for planting. And if it doesn't work, if it doesn't grow, then he sold them something that doesn't work. Yeah. I say, well, maybe you could burn them. Rashbam mentions maybe you could burn them. He says, well, he can't even claim that that's going to have any value, because when you buy them, it's as if the seller told you I'm selling them to you to plant, because that's the only thing that you do with them. Yeah. Okay. Itmar. We have a statement which is a machlekes. Usually Itmar ends up being a machlekes. This is the Gemara that Rashi quotes there. And yeah. If someone buys an ox from his friend and it comes out that it was a goring ox, and the reason why he bought the ox was because he needed it to plow his field. Problem is, it was wild. It's ADHD. You couldn't get it to walk in a straight line. You couldn't get it to hold the yoke on it. You couldn't. It was not workable. So Rav Amar Hareze Mekachtos. Rav says that it's a mistaken transaction. You get your money back. What does Rav say? Rav says that we follow the majority. Yeah, in the Gemara Haminah. Yeah, this is the Gemara's quoting from here. This is the source of it. You'll see in a second. The next one. Shmuel says the opposite. Shmuel says Yachalei Malai, that the seller can tell to the purchaser. He can say, I didn't know you were buying it to work a field. I thought you were buying it because you wanted to have a barbecue. You wanted to shecht it. So Shmuel is going to say that we don't follow a majority. Majority of people that buy animals is not for shechita, they buy it to work. And Shmuel says that you can tell the person that, well, you're not from the majority. You can't, so you can't claim your money back.
So according to having, maybe someone has to specify, but to the seller.
Yeah, well, really what we're looking for is that exactly, that the purchaser needs to spell it out why he's buying it. If you want to get if you want to turn this into a mekachtaris, if you want to be able to get your money back, you have to say that I'm buying this animal because I need to work my field. I need an animal that can be used in a plow. But if you don't say that, then the seller can say, well, you're just changing your mind now. That's not you can't change your mind now.
This situation that they say is based on the majority. It sounds like it's an end of a business. The seller's going to say, "Oh,
exactly,
the majority buy it to slaughter," and then the buyer's going to say, "No, majority buy it to work."
Right.
So,
how do we get the majority? This is a statistical majority. This is not a majority like you have 10 stores, 9 of them sell kosher meat and one of them doesn't, and that, like those gemaras that we had, that's not a statistic. That's
means what most people buy.
Yeah, what most people buy.
how do you prove it? Because they're going to go back and forth about that.
No, well, we're not going into what the statistics are. We're assuming that we have the statistics correct.
But how do you prove it against you? Because they don't want to believe that the animals used those people, but they're not the majority. Everyone wants to be the majority.
No, I don't think that's what's happening. I think what's happening is that what the statistic majority is, what the statistics are, everyone's accepting. We know what people buy animals is the animals are for working.
So buy a pumpkin Halloween time, like a pumpkin. I mean, to make a
jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, there's no. So this is for eating. Guys, I mean that's the idea.
Yeah. So then you would have to go. I think the time would come in. Well, during this time, that's what pumpkins are for.
Yeah.
And this and that. But
everybody accepts that.
Don't even.
They'll say, but in Mea Sharim, they're not.
Make a pumpkin spice on it. We don't use pumpkins for 2 things.
What is that?
Like pumpkin pie and pumpkin spice.
Right.
That's
Yeah. So Shmuel says that he can say l'shchitim chatel. Basically, what we're getting to here is that machlekes Rav and Shmuel. If you follow a majority, or if the person can say that I'm not following the statistics, I don't need to follow statistics. Every individual is an individual, and the statistics don't tell me what you are. Yeah. Right? No, the statistics don't tell me. It's just nice. Okay, statistics, but that doesn't mean anything about this specific case. That's what Shmuel's saying. So, let's take a look. He gavred the zavan lenachsas. Let's see, is this guy a sheikhet? Does he have a restaurant? Is he in the food business, or does he have property? So we say begavred the zavan lehachi. One of these guys, he's got a few businesses. He has property, he has a restaurant, he's got this. Could have been either way. Okay, so we can't prove it like that. So we say let's take a look at the money. How much did he pay? The payment for an ox to work is way more than an ox that you want to eat. So it's double the price. So let's take a look at at how much he paid. The Gemara says, no, it would be necessary. The Aikir Bisr we can't figure it out because the price of meat went up and it's the same price as animals for working. So we can't figure it out because of the person. We can't figure it out because of the price. All we have is the person's claim. And that's what we have to look at, the person's claim. So now if it's the person's claim, now we have an interesting machlekes Rav and Shmuel. Rav would say that the person with the majority on his side, the statistics on his side wins. And Shmuel says we don't look at the statistics to determine what this person really bought it for. Now, if you're telling me that there's no difference in price between this and between that, so why are you making a difference? It's the same value. So Gemara says, nafkamina letircha. The nafkamina is, do you have to go and bother yourself to sell it? I mean, the guy that wanted an ox to plow his field, he ends up with an ox that it can only be used for shechita. The same money that he's going to get from selling the meat is going to be the same price to buy another ox for. So, but it's the same value. The Gemara says nafkamina letircha, but he's going to have to stand out there and sell the meat to be able to get the value. So who has to go through that bother? That's a machlekes Rav and Shmuel. Gemara says hey chidami. What's the case? If the person doesn't have any money, liyakiv tura bezuzeh. It's interesting. You can say, okay, you want your money back? I'll give you your money back. Take the thing that you bought, and that has the value of your money.
Just sell what you have.
Yeah, because you're allowed to pay, when it comes to damages at least, you're allowed to pay afilu supin. You're allowed to pay even bran. You can pay a person bran.
Unless you have something that's mamish defective.
No, even that you could.
It doesn't sell for as much.
No, so but if it has the value, sale value, then that's what you're allowed to pay. If the person doesn't have money. If the person doesn't have money. If he has money, he's supposed to pay money. If he doesn't have money, you can pay with whatever he has. The Gemara says, no, he does have money. You can't just pay the person with bran when you have money. Talking about the seller. Does the seller have cash to be able to give him his money back? Now, there's a discussion here if it means the original money that was paid, which the Rashbam quotes Rabbeinu Hananel that seems to say that, and he says he rejects that. That shouldn't matter. If it's the original coins, that doesn't matter.
He did get paid on the original transaction.
He got paid from the original transaction, but that it doesn't have to be that same bill, so that same coin. Says no, he does have money to give him back to return the sale. Rav says it's considered a mistaken sale because it doesn't do work, this animal. And Basaruba is linan because we follow the majority. And most people buy animals to do work, to plow. Shmuel will say to you, Kilzin Basaruba, when do we follow the majority of statistics? That's only the surah. That's only when it comes to ritual law. When it comes to money, we don't follow the majority. Each person can claim that I'm not part of the majority. So you're not part of the majority. Doesn't determine that. Doesn't determine what it is. Why does it determine it by ritual law? That's based on psukim, based on a pasuk. After Rab Lahatais, I think Taisa says in Aminia something. There's a question if there's monetary cases. I remember like this was like a Reb Shimon Shkop or something. If there's monetary cases held in court, according to Shmuel, we shouldn't follow the majority of the court. Maybe it was the Taisvis in Baba Kama or something. Someone spoke about this. Shari Yosha is Reb Shimon Shkop, yeah. He explains it there.
What's that?
Okay, apparently in the notes in Hillel's Shaspad, it has both this Reb Shimon Shkop was a Rosh Hashiva in Grodno, in Lithuania. Yeah. They had a very philosophical style of thinking about things.
So what's that called?
His thing is the Shaspad.
No, I know, but
It's the name of a book, Shari Yosha.
oh, Shari Yosh. Okay.
Okay. Simon, Isha, Ve'eved, Shar, Shairin, Uperis. It's going to be the questions that we're going to have on either on Rav or on Shmuel. So we start with the first one. Meisvei. It's going to be a question on Rav. Rav says that you go after the majority. It's easy to remember because the name Rav is Rav, right? Rav. Want to remember that? Yeah, easy. Meisvei, the Gemara's a question. Isha shenis armala. There was a woman that was widowed. And Niskarsha, she's divorced. V'hi meres, and she's claiming her ksuba. She says basula nesesi. When I got married, I was a basula, a virgin, and therefore the ksuba is double. It's 200 instead of 100. And he says this is obviously by the divorce case. He's not talking when she's widowed. I married you. You're already a widow then. In other words, not a basula, and therefore your ksuba is only going to be 100. Okay, there's certain things that are done at a first wedding that are not done at a second wedding. The first wedding, there's some type of hat that they wear.
Just if both are doing the second marriage, or
it's the girl, if it's her first marriage, she wears a certain hat, and also her hair is not covered yet. She only covers her hair after she's married.
But if someone, she was divorced and he was divorced and got married.
Yeah, could be.
So what's my father?
So, but there's a difference. What takes place at the first wedding? What takes place at the second wedding?
I know
At
something
the
like
first
that.
wedding, you know, well, what we do, the Ashkenazim, we do the first wedding outside under the sky. The second wedding we do inside, right? That's what we do. Yeah.
oh,
I think Sfardim always do weddings inside, but Ashkenazim do it under the sky. They don't do it inside. And the second wedding we do inside. But also they wear a veil. I think only the first wedding they're supposed to wear this veil. That would be the Hinuma comparison here. The first wedding they wear a veil. The second wedding they don't wear a veil.
and it all depends on the status
Of the girl, if she's a basula or not, and that would
Sheva
change the ksuba.
brachas.
Sheva brachas is also dependent on that. Also, it's either 3 or 7 or 1.
In a kasuva today, does this show up in the document?
It's gonna say besultada or beultada, or it's gonna say masrachtada or armaltada. It will say either she's a virgin or not a virgin, or a widow or a divorcee.
So here, what's the case here?
Yeah, so we're talking about a case where either there was no document, or
Document.
because that was the custom, or the document was lost or something. He's claiming that he's not saying that there's no ksuba. He's just saying the detail of the ksuba is different. Yeah, apparently there were places, and the Gemara discusses, there were places where they didn't need the actual document of the ksuba because it was a given that there was a ksuba, and everyone knows there's no such thing as a marriage without a ksuba. So there had to be a ksuba. We didn't need the document. So what do you do when you pay it up? You just get a receipt. Usually when you pay up a debt, you get the document back. In other words, the ksuba would go from the woman to the husband, and he would take it, probably tear it up, and but it can't be claimed again. But if there's no document, what do you do? Then the wife would have to write a receipt that she received the money, and he would have to keep the receipt.
So in this case, there's either no document or for whatever reason, the document didn't say her status.
Yeah.
And didn't say 200 zoos.
Right. The document was that. What does it say over here? The Rashbam says, spells it out a little bit. He says, what was the case? She says she lost the ksuba, or it's a place where they don't write a ksuba on the Rashbam Yishushin Asarma. So we have to look at some majorities over here and see like what are the statistics of marriages? And most marriages first marriages, most marriages second marriages.
If there's a question on the if there's a question on the woman, they have it.
So what they do is they'll write Bisultada, and he'll accept on himself pay that. If he can accept that on himself, unless it's an absolute lie.
They write with a base or
A base.
They write with a base. They read it with a base.
No, they read it with the base also.
They never do with it.
No.
Unless it's a joke.
Dr. Stein is here. He said that there was a ksuba that instead of writing Bisultada, they wrote Pisultada. I guess it means like she's puzzled instead of Bisultada. Okay, so if we have witnesses that that the wedding was a basula wedding, then ksubasa Messiah, then she's going to get the 200. Okay, that's the halacha. Now, 1 second. What about the majority? Time of the Kedim. What's the reason why she's going to get the 200? That's because there were witnesses. But if there are no witnesses, then she's going to get 100 instead of 200. Most women get married the first time, especially before they get married the second time. Most weddings is a basula, right? So that's the case. It's a kashan Rav. Rav should say we should follow the majority.
More like a monetary.
But that Shmuel says that we don't follow the majority. Rav says we do follow the majority by money. It's machlekes Rav and Shmuel. It's the kashan Rav from a Mishnah.
Fortunately, on effects case.
Oh.
The guy who remarries his first wife, the joke with better the second time, yeah, but who remarries his first, does he give her a mayor or a sign of the weeks?
I'm not sure.
Because she
did
still
she
was
get-
to him.
Yeah. If she
original-
received the ksuba the first time, then the second one she would only get. But I'm not. It could be discussed at some point. Amar Ravina. Ravina says Mishum Diklamema Rav Nashim Basulisnis says the reason for this is a special reason. Usually, yeah, we would follow majority. That's the answer for Rav. See, this is easy to remember. Ravina answers Rav. So he says Mishum Diklam Rav Nashim Basulisnis says most. Yeah, you're right. There's a majority. Miyat Almanis, and there's only a minority that gets married as a widow. But whenever there's a woman that gets married as a basula, that's a whole to-do, and everyone talks about it, and there's a first wedding, and everyone makes a big deal. Because we don't have this this rumor, the fact that we can't bring witnesses, we don't have the people that know about it. So Ishalei Ruba, so this causes a defect in the majority. So we say, yeah, there's a majority, but we have a flaw. There's the people that know that she was a basula. Where are they? So, okay, so this is a majority, but there's a problem with the majority because we're missing the call. We're missing the people that talk about saying that yes, we remember that this is what happened. Umar says, "Ikol and this is basula yishlam call." If this is by everyone, so you can my havi. So So then what are we concerned about if there's witnesses? Why do we follow witnesses? We should say, Midlesta call Sadi Shakinino. I don't know how you prove that there's no call. I thought the witnesses would be the ones that are saying that we remember. But somehow the Gemara is saying that like this, that if we don't have call means like the rumors, the talk, publicity. If we don't have the publicity and we only have two witnesses, so why do we believe the two witnesses? We should say that every wedding that's a basula, there's publicity. And because there's only two witnesses that are coming up telling us that she was a basula, so then they must be liars. So we shouldn't even believe the witnesses. Because every wedding has publicity. Every wedding. The Gemara answers this simply. It's not every wedding, it's majority of weddings have publicity. And so this one, okay, this wasn't one of the majority, but nevertheless we have witnesses. Okay. So what we've just done here is we've answered the question on Rav. Rav was saying that we shouldn't even, according to Rav, we shouldn't even need witnesses. She should automatically get the 200 ksuba. We say, no, there's a problem with this majority. He said, but if there's a problem with the majority, then why do we even trust the witnesses? We say that, no, it's fine, it works out. Trust the witnesses. Yeah, but this would have another problem, not that there's other witnesses that are contradicting them. Or maybe it's like other witnesses contradicting. So it'd be even. So even if it's even, but what you see, you have to look at the basic principle here is that mammon, what is it? Well, what's the expression? Not mammon, I'm suffix. You say ukim memayna b'cheskas mari. You leave the money where it was where it was originally, yeah. So that would be at the husband's. That's really that works together. If you're trying to extract money, you have to prove it. So she's trying to extract money. So okay.
So it's saying that a rumor, a call is stronger than eating?
Doesn't have to be stronger, but it could be equal.
Well,
yeah, it cancels, but two witnesses would also cancel the witnesses. You have to see. I didn't go through this Taisvis, but there is a Taisvis on this. The zoo.
because you have one presumption against another presumption here. That's what you end up with.
Right. Which would leave us with Hametzi Mechaber Lavaraya.
Well, that's the second presumption. The first presumption would be the rove. Right? The second presumption is if you're in possession of it, if you're muksak, it's yours. I think.
Yeah, but she's not a muksik of anything.
Right. No, the husband is the muksak. He's got the money. And now, was she a basula or not?
Well, she has a right. Problem is the right isn't strong enough because it's as Israel Aruba, because there was no call.
That's what I'm saying. It's not strong enough because it's one presumption against another presumption.
Right.
Oh, it's interesting. In English, it says you can't go by the majority that's non-spoken because there's probably a majority that's also non-spoken go against them, like the silent majority, not the silent minority. So therefore, it doesn't negate Rob's opinion. The fact that you say, well, it was a call, and most people knew she was a virgin. We still have two witnesses because our whole legal system is based on two witnesses.
Right.
You can't say, well, nobody else.
Yeah, so that's only because it's a majority that we don't have anyone else. That it's not.
But he's saying the majority is presumed because you're here. So you can also presume there's a majority. Half of the majority negates the other half of the majority because you don't know who it is. It's like infinity plus something. If
Oh,
I'm
that's the way you're
understanding
saying
the
it.
English.
The way Dr. Stein is explaining it from the English is that I have a majority of women that get married as a basula.
Right.
I have a majority of women that get married as a basula that they have publicity. So the two majorities are canceling each other out.
That's not what I said, but I like that. No, here's, for a while, one majority indicates that she married as a virgin. Another majority indicates that since her virgin marriage is not public knowledge, she's in fact married as a widow. Two indicators thus nullify each other, and the woman's claim is not accepted unless she produces testimony.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I guess the big deal here is why Shmuel's taking this position. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the idea of going after the rove is all over.
Yeah, that was a Taisvis in Baba Kama. I think that had some shed some light on that. Was it on that in that Gemara in Haminia?
Mhm.
It says, why do we go after the majority anyway? That's only because of a pasuk that tells me something. Here is, that for some reason we don't extend it over to monetary things.
Money. Yeah.
That's something like that. Okay, next discussion. Tashema. See, in the Simon and the mnemonic, there were Isha Epid. We're up to the second question. This is going to be a question on Shmuel. If someone sells a slave to his friend, turns out that he's a thief or he's a kidnapper. It's a good sale. No, it's a good sale because they're all the slaves are all thieves, and you'll see in the Gemara. That's here. Oh, a gambler. Kubustus sounds more like a gambler. I don't know why. He says a cube. A cube means a dice. Yeah, the Rashbam says he's a kidnapper. Maybe kidnappers would sit around where they play cards and steal the kids.
So says, however, word it could also mean
You say Taisva says that? Yeah, Masachik Bekuvia. Like rummy cub, rummy cube. How do you say cube or cub? Cube, rummy cube. The cube is Kubustus is the dice cube. Oh, that's the next thing. So Higia, it's a good sale. Let's say he's an armed bandit, it's murder, or he ran away from the court. In other words, he was supposed to be in prison. He ran away from death row. You say that it's not a good sale. Gives him right back. He sold me a dead slave. My timer. What's the reason back in the first case? Why do we say that it's a good sale? Lav mishum derubahachisno. It must be that majority. You hear what's going on? Majority of slaves are robbers and not robbers are thieves and kidnappers or gamblers. And so therefore, when you bought it, you obviously knew what you were buying. And so therefore, this is a valid sale. Well, now, why do we say that majority? And you obviously know that's because we're following a majority. The Kashan Shmuel. Shmuel says we don't follow a majority. Here we're pulling it the other way. And the fact that you've accepted the status of the slave is because we're following the majority. The Gemara says, "Like kulo hachiyasno." That's not a majority. That's everyone. It's more than a majority. If it would just be a majority, then the purchaser of the slave could say, "I'm not part of the majority." I wasn't expecting that. I wanted to get was buying a car or something. So I said, just go to the store and get a car. He says, no, I want a good deal. I said, but that's the price. I know that's the price, but I want to get a better deal than to get something better than that. So here he's saying that look, majority of slaves are thieves. So that's what you got. What's the problem? This is exact. He says, no, I wanted a good deal. I wanted that one slave that's not. And so that's the question. Shmuel, according to Shmuel, you could say that the purchaser. So we see answer that there is no such thing. There is no good deal here. It doesn't exist. Yeah. Okay. There's a lot of cleaning lady stories. Whatever. Okay. Tashima.
Something I never thought about, like throughout the whole Shas, it talks about slaves, this, that, but it doesn't, like, how does a master force?
Did he be honest?
Yeah, force that the slave does the job.
Right.
It's working.
Yeah.
Baby.
Whip, yeah.
Someone was just
Slave
telling
run
me
away,
yesterday
just run away.
that this meme that this guy is holding 2 bags of groceries and he says, this cost me $100. He said at the self-checkout, you could have gotten it for 42. Yeah. Okay, anyway. So, but the reason why it's $100 is because at the self-checkout, it's 40, whatever. And that's why they have to offset the things. So that's why yeah. Anyway, so Tashima, come and listen. We're up to the third question here. This is the shar. Sorry?
Go to this self-checkout and you,
Yeah,
we're not allowed to do
we're
that.
not allowed to do that. Tashima, Shoshanaga Chesapara, an ox gores a cow. Nimtza Ubra Betzida. And there's a the fetus is laying on the side, dead. We don't know if it died from the goring or if it died, it was like a miscarriage, died beforehand. So we're talking about that the animal that gored was a short time, the tame animal, so it only has to pay half the price.
I didn't understand. Dead cows don't give birth. So the whole case never made sense. If it didn't give birth yet, then if the sure was no good, they find it. When they cut it open, there would be a dead fetus. Lying on its side. If they didn't cut it open, it doesn't make sense.
We don't have to say, yeah, we don't have to say the cow died. The cow was damaged. Yeah. We know the fetus is there. Yeah. So, okay. So you have to pay half price for the cow and a quarter for the fetus. The reason why it's a quarter is because we're following that rule of Sumchas that you divide. If it's a doubt, you divide it in half. So we don't know. So he pays half of a half, which is a quarter. Why do we say this? Most animals, they give birth to live offspring, not the dead offspring. So if we follow the statistics, the majority, this would have been alive. Why did it die? It must be because of the goring. The kasha on Rav that says that you follow the majority. According to the majority, we should have to pay the full half price for the fetus. It must be because of the goring, because majority of them give birth naturally healthy. So Sasamisham the Mesafkalon, over there we have another doubt. Iklameimar Mekama Asa, Umibius Tusa Hipila, Iklameimar Khairasa Minagha, Mingach Nagha Hipila, Mamanot Khalkin. We could say it like this. We know that the reason why it had this, why the fetus is dead, is associated with the animal that's coming towards it. Question is, did it get a shock when it was coming towards it because it was coming to gore it from the front, and then it had a miscarriage? Or do we say it hit it from the back and it had the miscarriage because of the bang? Huh? What is Takasubo?
Remember with the heart attack?
Takasuboto.
What was Takasubo? What was that?
You die of a broken heart.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or the tremendous shock. You go into heart failure or a heart attack.
It's also a restaurant.
It's made fun because I
So you can eat.
mispronounced it.
Yeah, so the cow had this
It's not
tak
Takatsubo, I think it's
Eat till you
Takatsubo.
get a heart attack.
takasubo. Yeah. What is that?
Takabachaya.
All you can eat till you get a heart attack.
Tuesdays.
Okay. So that's the explanation. Okay, because it's a doubt, so we divide it. Let's say that this is a machlekes tanaim. What's the case after this in the mnemonic? Shirin. Okay. The one ox which is pasturing, and we see a dead one right next to it. We see the one that's dead was gored, and the one that's pasturing, that's standing on the side so innocently, is a muad to gore. It does this all the time. So this one has a big bite mark in it, and the other one is known to be a biter. We don't say that just because that this is what usually happens. We don't say that's what happened this time. Now, who would say that? That we don't follow the majority? It's not here. It's not a majority. Here, it's an assumption. Who would say that we don't follow it? Shmuel. What does it say there?
Yes, animal models of Takasubo syndrome have been developed.
Dr. Stein says that animals also have takasubo or subodo. They can get emotionally shocked and they can have miscarriages.
Well, they can die.
Die.
How do they
How
do
do
it?
you know the animal had emotional?
This is in the lab. Yes, they do.
Oh, wow. It's loud.
Who-
The timer's almost up.
We don't use timers anymore.
Okay, so we don't say that it's obvious that this is what happened because that's the assumption, because this one always does that. Ravacha says, Ravacha says, no, if there was a camel that was trying to mate with another one and sees that it's dead, so you see the one dead, so it's obviously this is the one that killed it. So Ravacha says, no, we do follow the assumed assumption, which we're comparing now to a majority. Savrua, we're thinking now, the Ruba bechazaka kiadadinenu, that a majority and an assumption is the same thing. So Rav, who says that we follow majority, says we follow assumption. That's Ravacha's view. Shmuel that says we don't follow majority, says we don't follow assumption. That's a Tanakama's view. So it's actually a machlekes tanaim. Amalach Rav. So Rav would respond to you. Rav doesn't want to be put in a position where he's arguing on Ravacha. So he says like this, where he's arguing on the Tanakama. Rav says, another I feel like Tanakama, I can even go like the Tanakama that say that we don't follow the assumption. The Tanakama says that we don't follow the assumption. But in my case, where's the case where someone bought an ox and you're trying to tell me that he didn't buy it to plow, that's a majority. No, everyone would agree that you follow a majority. It's only an assumption that the Tanakama holds that they don't follow. There's a difference between Raiv and Chazaka. Shmuel would say to you, that I can even follow Ravacha that says that you do follow the assumption. Because Ravacha only said that because you follow the Chazaka. But the Hugufa Muksik, because this animal is, you see, there's an assumption here that animal itself always does this. So that's a Chazaka. Aval Basaruba Leaslinon. But they don't follow the majority. Ravacha wouldn't say that the majority. What's the difference in majority and assumption? The majority is a statistic. It does not tell me anything about this case. It's just that happens a lot of times in the world, but it doesn't tell me about this animal. The assumption tells me about this animal, that this animal did it before many times. So therefore, I'm going to assume that he did it again. Yeah. So Shmuel's saying that they followed the assumption, but they would agree that a statistic is meaningless. Yeah.
That follows the whole same idea about the time and more.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Should we stop over here? Let's try to finish. Turn the page. Tashima. Someone sells fruits to his friend. This is our Mishnah. Vizaron, or seeds, it could be grain. He plants of leitzamchu, and it doesn't grow. I feel as a pishtan, even if it's pishtan, which is normally not eaten. You're not obligated to. He doesn't. It's not. He doesn't return from the sale. No, it's because you could say that it was a that he sold it to. He bought it to eat or for medicine or whatever you do with flax. My afilu. Why do you say afilu? Lav afilu zerapishtan the rubel is riazavni. Afilachi in basaruba. It must be that we don't follow the majority. Now the thing is, the Rashbam points out that there's two possible majorities here. There's a majority of how much flax is sold. Majority of flax that's sold is for linen, is for seeds, for sowing. The majority of people that buy flax are for medicine. But all the people that buy flax, all the medicine together, it doesn't add up to one guy that buys it to plant. So there's many people. So I could go different ways over here. I could go that I'm following the majority of people, or it could be I'm following the majority of the seed that's sown. So which majority would I follow? So the Gemara is saying, Maya fila. Why do you say even? Lava feels there a person drubal is real. Must be when you said even, it must be because you're trying to tell me a chiddush there. In the chiddush of the even if it's a flaxseed, it's because most of the flaxseed is sown for planting. And nevertheless, you don't get it back because we don't follow the majority. So the Gemara says Tanoi. It's a machlekes Tanoi. There's Tanoim that support this. The Tanya was taught in the Brayso he sells seed and it doesn't grow. So Gina, if it's the seeds from the garden which are not edible, then he returns the sale. Zarapishtan, but if it's flaxseed, which possibly could be eaten for medicine, or he doesn't return the sale. And Rabbi Yossi says, that you do return the sale. We say because most of the flax in the world is sold for sowing. And that's not what he got. Amrulai, so they said to him, no, they're thinking that the Amrulai is not the Tanakama. No, there's many people that buy flax for other things. They're following not the amount of flax that's sold, but the amount of people that buy flax. So man Tanoi, which you said that it's Machlekes Rav and Shmuel, is a Machlekes Tanoim. So we have three opinions here. We have the Tanakama that say that you don't follow the majority. We have Rabbi Yossi that says you do follow the majority, and you have the Amrulai which say you follow a different majority. You follow the majority of people. So Mantana Ilem Rabbi Yossi v'Amrulai. If you want to say it's the second two opinions, Tavaya Basaru Bazli, they both follow majority. The question is which majority? The majority of flax, the majority of people. Ma'arasal Basaruba then she Ma'arasal Basaruba Dizriya. This one follows most buyers, and this one follows most flax. Ella, rather, Itanakama Rabbi Yossi, it must be whether it's a Machlekes Tanoim is whether the Tanakama that don't follow the majority of at all, or Rabbi Yossi that follows the majority of the flax. Itanakama v'Amrulai, or maybe it's a Tanakama that don't follow the majority at all, and the Tanakama v'Amrulai, and it's the ones that follow the majority of the purchasers. Okay, let's leave it over there.
I had this case just yesterday.
But you lost it.
That they gave a guy a moringa seed.